What's going on, fam? Welcome to the Adonime podcast, where we watch anime with the redemptive eyes of a Christian believer. My name is Manny.
And my name is Evas. And welcome to another reaction video, and this time of the anime, The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses.
So starting out, just as a little disclaimer, we're in the middle of a thunderstorm, but we still wanted to do this episode, so we are going on. We're moving forward. We're plowing on. Rain or shine, this episode is going to get done. So we're going to be going over this anime, The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, and we're going to share the synopsis real quick, and it goes like this. As the desk mate of Ai Mie, Kaede Komura always has his attention fixed on her. Attracted by her cute charms, all he wishes for is that she would look at him with those beautiful eyes beneath her glasses. But just a few days after making her acquaintance, Kaede notices something different about Ai. Her eyes are squinting and her glasses are missing. Nonetheless, he still finds her adorable. Unexpectedly, Ai has a tendency to forget her glasses. Having terrible vision, she has difficulty going through her day at school. Thankfully, Kaede is more than willing to help her. As Ai starts relying on him, Kaede's feelings for her grow even more. Likewise, despite her short-sightedness, Kaede slowly becomes the person Ai always hopes to see. So, Sebas, you want to share the rating for the anime real quick?
Absolutely, Manny. And the rating for this anime is PG-13, which means that it's for teenagers pretty much. Now, what will you say, Manny? Is this a good rating for this anime?
Yeah, I don't see anything too crazy about this one. Only probably because it deals with romance. You know, kids younger than 13 can't really understand those topics, or shouldn't really be getting into those topics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least not to take it seriously. But so far, I haven't seen anything too crazy. I mean, it's gonna be a romance anime for sure, but nothing too crazy. Only like there's a little tiny scene where he was like, "No, don't look there, don't look there."
Yeah, but it wasn't even like it was showing anything.
It didn't show anything. But as a teenager
male,
will
yeah.
understand. Yeah, a teenager will be like, "Yeah, we all know what he was talking about."
And we also have to understand that it is a romance, but according to the to my anime list, it's also gonna be a comedy. When there is comedy, there might be a couple of jokes that are a little bit
The comedy
on the borderline.
Your worst enemy.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I enjoy comedy on certain aspects, not in everything. But I think they put it also PG-13 because of maybe they are gonna put some jokes later on that we don't know about.
Yeah,
it could be the reason. That's why I'm bringing it up, but not because I actually like this type of comedy.
yeah, it's possible. So yeah, you think PG-13 is pretty good?
PG-13 is pretty good so far.
Okay. All right, let's get into the anime. First of all, we have to talk about how this anime looks.
Bro, I agree with you. Just for the audience to know, this is one of the little episodes that we made while we watched the anime together. Mm-hmm. We don't watch all the animes together, but this one in specific, we watched the anime together. Mm-hmm. And since the beginning, this was our first impression was, wow.
Yeah, we both at the same time were like, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. The animation style, the colors, the movements of the hair, the movement of Mia's hair is like,
so natural, so different. The studio placed a lot of attention to those little details, to the point that you can see everything going together.
You can see the dust.
Yes.
with the reflection of the sunlight going into the room. Like, oh my gosh, it was a lot. And then how they took like reality and then turn it into like a dream. Like they bring in the wind and then these colors start flying. It was just visually, it was very pleasant to see. and the
Yes.
different camera views, the angles, like
The
oh
different
my
types of
gosh.
animation, because the streets that look like streets made out on computer, but at the same time you have the characters that are walking around. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm
Yeah,
not going to complain about the quality, because definitely if you like animes with good quality of animation, bro,
yeah, this one
this is
was
your anime.
yeah, and honestly, like I didn't even get to see what studio was the one that made the anime. Do you know?
Yeah, we saw it at the end.
Gohands. Gohands is the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not too familiar with Gohands, but now that I saw this one, I'm gonna be like, okay, what other animes did this studio make? Because
Definitely, this studio made an amazing work with the animation. An amazing job. Sorry.
they really did. So props to this studio. It was really good job. So from the get go, from the beginning, the anime starts out is literally you're in Komura's shoes. You're listening to his thoughts. He's thinking about from the first words are, he's in love. He can't stop thinking about this girl.
Yeah, he has a big crush.
Yeah, big crush, and he's walking to school and he can't get her out of his head, which, I think most guys can relate to feeling like that in middle school or high school or whatever. They have some sort of memory of, oh, there's this girl and, I can't get her out of my head and this and that, and I can't wait to see her in class. Like that's, this stuff is, things that at least the romantic people.
I was gonna go through that, because I was going to tell you not everybody goes through that. Not
Yeah,
everybody is
that's why I
so
said
romantic
most.
to the point that, oh, I'm just thinking of her all the time.
Maybe they're not being poetic, but still,
No,
like,
but to the point that they even get to the point of I just want to gaze at her or looked at her all
yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Maybe it might not be that poetic, but maybe guys don't go that far, like.
yeah.
And also something that intrigued me, and that I thought, why did the mangaka, or why did the author wrote it like that? And I started looking up what type of mangaka actually wrote this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a woman who wrote this.
Oh, okay, nice.
So it
Yeah.
makes sense that it will have that romanticism behind,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a woman.
Yeah.
Now, for the guys that they don't relate that much with the emotions and feelings, and I'm in love with her, yeah, maybe they might think, "Uy, this is
It's
a little bit too
much.
girly."
Yeah, too
But we also
sensitive.
have to understand that there are different types of people.
Mhm.
In this case, we are dealing with a character that it's, how can I say it? That it's too lovey-dovey, too
Yeah. Too sensitive.
too sensitive.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with that. It's just a different perspective, a different point of view.
Yeah, and at least in the case of us, like I feel like you and I are the same in that sense. Like we're both sensitive guys. We can appreciate a good romance.
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
There is people that they don't like romances, but that's
Yeah.
not our case.
Yeah, that's not our case. That's the thing. So it's like we're obviously going to enjoy this one because, and it's like okay. I mean, there are some romances out there that are like kind of shallow, kind of don't really have. They don't really get you like in your feelings, like like a quality anime that can grasp your attention and grasp onto your heart. And this one for me so far, it's from the
It's been
beginning,
awesome.
from the beginning, straight from the beginning. So and that moment when she finally appears, because like he's walking and he's only thinking about her and this and that.
And they're
then
building it up. It
building
feels
it up.
like, oh, she's the most beautiful person. I love how
Yeah.
she is. Her personality, everything
Yeah.
about her makes me crazy. Her glasses.
Yeah.
And then when you finally see her, it's like, wow.
yeah, you see her and her hair's moving, and it's just like they really, really, really did a good job in grasping you into selling you into, wow, this girl is like the most beautiful character in the show and whatever. Like you put yourself in his shoes, like you start feeling the way that he starts feeling, and That's what a good anime does, especially in a romance anime. That's what it does. So they did a really good job of anticipating that moment, and they did it so simply yet so beautifully, so like in a gorgeous way. How the animation looked and everything, it was really nice to see. And then the whole situation with her losing her glasses and her having to be close to him so that she can read and see his face and all that. Honestly, like I was I was reacting the same way that Komura was reacting. Like I would start freaking out, like, oh my gosh, it's too close. She's too close. Like, oh my gosh. And like, my heart would start pacing, and like it drove me crazy. Like I was feeling it, like I was in there, like I could feel it. And obviously, in a certain extent, it's a tiny bit over exaggerated, because I mean it's a show. I mean,
yeah, and at the same time, we're men. We don't show.
Yeah.
There were moments in which I was like, that's a little bit unrealistic. A boy doesn't react that way, but they showed it that way, and I thought it was pretty cool at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, well, number one, we have to understand who's writing it. A woman.
Yeah.
And number two, even though we won't understand or we won't grasp it to the point that the mangaka wanted to communicate it, we can still see her effort, and we can still enjoy as much as it is. Because it's true, it's exaggerated, but at the same time, we do feel a little bit of that.
Yeah.
We do feel a little bit of shame when the girl we like is talking to us, not to the point that we will run. Let's move.
You'd be surprised.
Well, if that's your case, you still have a long way to go, my friend.
May God give you strength, my friend.
But there are certain things that I do agree with you that if a girl does in front of me, I will feel not uncomfortable, but I will feel like, like I don't know how to react on this, because it feels good, but I know it's difficult. It places me on a difficult position.
Yeah, you start trembling and you.
Exactly. And the situation with with May, they call her Mie. The situation with Mie is that she doesn't understand, or she doesn't have that boundary with personal space with men.
Right.
Bro, if I
and we haven't really seen how she reacts with glasses on, but like without her glasses, the innocence on her is like ridiculous.
Yes.
Like she was way too close. She was like, oh yeah.
She looks straight at the face of the people, and she's still trying to see them, but she still doesn't realize she's way too close for the other person to feel comfortable. Yeah. And that makes it hilarious. That makes it funny.
And it also makes it super adorable.
Yes.
For sure.
But at the other hand, when we bring that to the real life, we have to be really careful about those things. Mm-hmm. Why? Because us men, when we shorten the personal space with a girl, and if we already have feelings like Komura does, that's a bomb that it's sticking over there.
Yeah.
And in those situations, we also tend to expose our hearts. We also tend to open up, and we also tend to get deeper in love.
Yeah.
So if you are a girl and you know that a guy has a crush on you, or you suspect that a guy has a crush on you, you have to be really careful with that, with personal space.
Yeah.
With physical contact.
Yeah.
Because you can get that guy crazy over you, and that can be sinful as well.
Right. Using that to your advantage in some type of way.
Or just because you like attention. And we have to be honest about this with girls. Boys, be careful, because girls like attention. Girls, be careful, because you like attention.
But boys like attention too, though.
But on a different aspect. Of course, we do like that the girl looks at us and sees us, and
okay, yeah.
But they like the attention to the point of being cared for, being protected. It's on a different way. Of course,
Not yeah. This shoe doesn't fit everyone, but you know,
Exactly.
generally speaking,
But we have to be really careful with that.
yeah,
Because if you guys are not pointing towards marriage, if you guys are not pointing towards having a real serious relationship, you shouldn't step over those boundaries because
right,
that's going to hurt your heart at the end of the day.
right. I think on that note, I think we can take Komura's example, at least up to now so far, to the point of where he has respect for her. He wants to protect her. He wants to treat her right. So you know he doesn't do things like you know that moment where he wanted to wake her up, but he didn't want to touch her because he felt like that was too far, and he was freaking out. He was like, I don't know how to wake her up and this and that. Like this is too much. Or like that moment we mentioned, like oh he's not gonna look at he's tying her shoe and he's like oh I'm not gonna look up. Just focus on her feet. Focus on her feet. He has self control.
Yes, but at the same time, it could be taken in different ways. Because you look at it as, oh, he's having self control. But also how I looked at it when I saw some of those scenes, not all of them, because definitely the one looking at her shoe, absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes down. But for example, to the point that she's sleeping in the class, the teacher is yelling at her and she's not listening because she's half asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the minimum you can do is shake it gently. I don't think there is anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean,
But how I saw it is like he is a man that it's too scared to take the initiative, and this is how I felt it throughout the show.
Yeah,
that he doesn't want to expose himself in this case. He doesn't want to expose himself to her to the point for her to get a little clue that he has a crush on her. Even though, let's be honest, if a girls, you know who looks at you. If a guy is looking constantly at you, you will probably know. But let's suppose that she doesn't know because she's oblivious.
Which happens.
That happens. In that case, I would also have to say, hey, he has to take the initiative on this. Because, I'm not going to ask, for example, at the beginning, I'm not going to ask her about her glasses because we haven't talked so much. Dude, that's in my mind, I was like, dude, that's the perfect reason to ask her. Oh, I see you different.
Yeah.
What happened to your glasses?
Yeah.
That's a normal conversation, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the icebreaker for you to get to know her.
Yeah, it just seemed like he has super anxiety and super he just freaks out and he doesn't know how to react to it.
Exactly.
He's super scared, super timid.
So if you are like me, you relate to the character. But at the same time, you understand, hey, that's not how it's supposed to be.
I would have at least taken like a pencil and poke her shoulder like, hey, wake up, please. At least.
Something, bro. Once again, I'm not against the shaking idea, a gentle shaking.
Yeah.
Because, hey, she was getting into trouble. Now, he managed to solve it out, but at the end of the day, she even got in trouble.
Yeah, but we're talking about, we also have to keep in mind, I mean, I don't believe that the anime told us exactly how old they are or what grade they're in, but it looks like middle school to me.
To me, it seemed more like a high school.
Well, either way, from the understanding that we have, maybe, because in the beginning they told us that he's known her for some time.
Mm-hmm. So
this might be his first crush, for all we know. His first interaction with a girl that he likes, for all we know. And he's never had any type of interaction with a girl whatsoever. So that's another reason why he's going to be flipping out. Another reason why he's going to be freaking out. So it's like he doesn't know, and he doesn't. It's not his expertise. So he's just he's just going with whatever he thinks is in his conscience. His conscience is condemning him for even shaking her on the shoulder. I don't know. I mean.
But I think that's way too much. I think that's an extreme.
Again,
And we
I
have to
don't
be
know.
careful with the extremes as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. He just needs a little bit of guidance, a little bit of a little push.
And that's something that I hope he gets on this anime, because most of relationships are not easy.
Yeah.
Any type of relationship, friendships, family relationships, and love relationships are even worse.
Even more complicated.
More
Don't say
complicated.
worse.
For that reason, it's really necessary for him to have somebody that he can rely on, that can guide him, that can teach him how
Yeah.
to conduct with a woman.
Yeah.
Obviously, the idea will be your parents to help you out. But this is anime, so parents are nowhere to be seen. So
Yeah.
hopefully he gets good friends that can guide him throughout that on how
Yeah.
he should interact with his girlfriend.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see.
Well, with his girlfriend,
with
not
his
yet, but
friend,
with a woman that
yeah,
he
with-
likes.
That he likes, yeah. And I'm curious to see that too. Like, we haven't seen that he has any friends so far.
Mhm.
We've seen that she has a couple friends.
Mhm. Well, friends, I don't know.
I wouldn't say they're not close.
We've
at least
seen
from
them-
what we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen her talking to girls.
Yeah,
that
like,
ask
hey,
her
you-
about her address and stuff, and that they care about her.
Yeah,
We don't know if they're
yeah.
close friends.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you want us to walk you home?
Yeah, and the only interaction that we have for him is him saying hello to a couple of dudes on the
Yeah.
on the stair.
Yeah.
So we really have no clue of what the interactions with these characters are.
Right. Yeah. But honestly, like their whole interaction this first episode, like I feel that the love interest is for young people, for young teenagers in love. I thought it was pretty wholesome.
And I like that up to a certain point it was. I don't want to call it pure because we know that we're sinful, but it was pretty clean, the interaction between both of them.
Yeah, they had.
For example, it's not like, oh, I'm looking at her breast because I think that's a good thing that she has.
Right.
They wouldn't even put it on those words. That's me just trying to express it out.
Yeah.
But on many shows, they look at their breasts.
Yeah, and
On
that's the
this-
only thing that they care about.
Exactly.
That's
And they
like
look at women as a
objects.
Oh, exactly. The breast,
The butt.
the butt.
The
But in
curves.
this anime, we didn't see that. All the
Right.
time he was her eyes.
Yeah, her
her smile,
eyes,
her hair.
her hair. Yeah.
It was pretty nice
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
point
yeah.
that it was. Once again, I don't want to say pure, but it was innocent.
Innocent,
That it
yeah.
was an
Oh,
innocent type of
yeah.
love.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed that aspect of this romance. I really enjoyed that. And I think that we can apply that with our relationship with God. The desire that in reality, the desire that a spouse has for the other spouse is, that's biblical. It's beautiful. It's part of the joys of love, of experiencing that love with someone. And I wanted to share the scripture from the book of Song of Solomon, just a little bit, because the whole I could share the whole book if I wanted to. But Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verses 1-3, and this is an interaction between a man and a woman.
His wife.
Yeah, a man and his wife, and they're about to get married. They're gonna have a wedding ceremony, and this is an interaction between them. And it says, "Behold, you are beautiful, my love. Behold, you are beautiful. Your eyes are doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats leaping down the slopes of Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn ewes that have come up from the washing, all of which bear twins, and not one among them has lost its young. Your lips are like a scarlet thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your cheeks are like halves of a pomegranate behind your veil." Those types of feelings, I felt like that was what was emanating from this anime. Like the way that he viewed her, like that. Those are real feelings that that are like we were saying, they were wholesome. They weren't like lusting for her. It was appreciating the beauty
that she has.
that God has made, and that God has put those feelings that He feels for that girl. And we can rejoice in these feelings because God had made us this way to experience love in this way. But at the same time, we have to be careful that it's not superficial.
Mm-hmm.
We must love a person not only for their outer beauty. The example that I gave was
Praising the
outer beauty, but this is not the only thing that's important. We have to also love the person for their inner beauty, because outer beauty fades, like the scripture says. Beauty fades over time, but we have to love the heart of the person. We have to cherish that heart. We have to care for that heart, and we have to have a bond with them, like we have with no one else. And I think that the first episode of this anime shows us that first step.
Mm-hmm.
That first step of a love that's blossoming, of the flower of love. It starts to bloom, and what matters most is how we handle that flower with care from that point.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's really important for us as men, not talking to the boys, that we get to appreciate the things that God sees as beautiful in a woman, and not the things that we see as beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What do I mean? As Emmanuel said before, beauty fades away,
Mm-hmm.
but a gentle spirit,
Mm-hmm.
it stays.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason, it's really important for us. Yeah, I do believe that it's necessarily that the person that you want to marry is someone that you actually feel attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
That's natural, and that's you have to have it to have a successful marriage, at least on the beginning. That has to be there. But it cannot be the only reason that guides you or that tells you to marry a person.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, there are many things that you have to consider first.
Mm-hmm.
There are many things that you have to do in order for you to protect your heart, and also to protect the heart of the woman
Mm-hmm.
that you want next to you. And the first thing is that God has to be the number one on the heart of that woman.
Yeah.
Boys, if a woman is not a believer, don't look at her, because that's not going nowhere. It is completely necessary for you to make sure that she is a believer. And there are many things that you have to do in order to make sure that this is correct. Now, I'm telling you, if you do all of this, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to make sure that she, or in the case of the woman, he is a believer.
Right. It's not foolproof.
It's not foolproof, but at least you have a guideline. You have something.
A guideline. Yes. Yes.
And number one, God has to be his or her number one.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you cannot be looking at a girl that doesn't serve at church, that it's cold when they read the scriptures, that falls asleep during the sermons. I'm 99% that's not a believer. You are not, I'm sorry, not 99. I'm 100% that she is not a believer. You are supposed to be looking for things that God sees as beautiful. Mm-hmm. Not for the things that you like. Yeah, we like the hair, we like the eyes, we have everything about her. But we don't have to focus only on that. We also have to focus on their spirit, mm-hmm. their gentle spirit. And mm-hmm. that's what we must seek as something beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we also have to understand that, because during the first stages of the relationship, sometimes it's difficult to have this perspective of he or she as a sinner. Because everything they do, it's beautiful to us. So even her problems, they're like, it doesn't matter, I'll help you solve them.
Yeah.
During the first stages of the relationship, it's going to be really difficult for you to identify bad things of her by yourself.
Right.
That's why it's important that this decision is made in the community of the believers.
Right.
Other people have to see her. Other people have to see how she reacts, how she reacts on the situations, how she reacts when somebody comes to her and tells her, "Hey, what you did is not right." We have to know about that. How will he or how will she react when somebody comes and tells them that they are acting wrong? Will they be proudful? Will they yell at people? Will they say, "Oh, I don't care about what you're telling me. It's my life. I live it the way I want"?
Yeah.
That's a no-go for a girl or a boy. You have to be really careful with that.
Yeah.
That person has to be a fervent servant of the Lord. He or she has to love the Lord. He or she has to serve on his or her church. Because I'm not saying that he or she on the talking stages or even on the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, she has to go to your same church. Not necessarily. But you have to see that her life is surrendered to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have to ask other people about her, the community of the believers, and
Right.
also her pastors or his pastors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an area that I see that it's not seen well or hasn't been talked a lot about in the church. Because many people believe that, oh, just because she comes regularly to church, I'll get to know her on the church. And that's it.
Right.
No, we have to ask for advice because we don't have the whole picture.
Right.
But you know who does? Our pastors.
Now, hopefully.
Well, believe me, pastors do. Somebody with experience on the ministry tell you that even the difficulties that they go through, even if they don't tell it to us, we'll get to know them.
Yeah.
And when that happens, we need to go to our pastors. And we also have to ask them, "Pastor, what do you think? Is this a good girl that you think I could start, flirting? I wouldn't say flirting
Or
necessarily,
pursuing.
but yeah, is this a good girl that I should start pursuing?" Your pastor should tell you, "You know what? No, be careful. If your pastor tells you no, that's a red flag for the girl. She could be the most beautiful girl in the world. But if she doesn't have the approval of your pastor, hey, bro, run. Because you don't know what's going on over there."
Yeah.
Not only that, but we also have to pray about it.
Yeah.
You don't go and say to the girl that you like, "Hey, I like you," just because I like you. No, you have to pray about it.
Yeah.
You have to ask the Lord for advice on this as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Lord will also respond by other people telling you, or also He, through the scripture, will guide you as well.
Yeah.
And God uses those signs as well to protect us from harm.
Yeah.
And believe me, in marriage, there is a big possibility of you to getting hurt because that's the deepest relationship where you expose the totality of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And an abusive marriage will only damage you more than any other relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Finally, I will say that with praying to God, "God guide me if this is the right person," you should also ask God for Him to help you opening opportunities for you to talk to her.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I understand it's not easy.
Yeah.
And like the character Komura, I feel him
Yeah,
to the point that he says, "Oh, I don't know how to talk to her." Believe me neither. That has happened to me several times. I don't know how to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But God will open opportunities if you pray to Him.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have to be seeking those opportunities. You cannot wait for, "Oh, if she's the one, I'll wait until one day she asks me if I'm a man that is interested in the Lord, and then I will start a conversation with that." That's not how it works. The man has to take the initiative. And maybe the initiative is, "Oh, hello, nice to meet you." It's not the first time that I see you, but it's the first time that I talk to you.
Yeah.
Or maybe asking somebody, "Hey, can you introduce me to this person?" That could be another opportunity. And
Yeah.
if you are lacking courage to talk to the other person, it's also correct to ask God to give you the courage to talk to the other person.
Yeah, of course.
Because believe me, you don't want to stay on a position where you said, oh, I could have talked to her, I could have asked, but I never did because I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't talk to her, I hope it is because you are not seeing good things that a woman should have,
Right.
not because you are afraid of talking to her.
Right. Right. Yeah.
If a guy goes out and tells me this, I tell him, hey, at least give it a try. Talk it out.
Yeah. Because if it's a missed opportunity and you missed out on a good person, that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That can be painful. That can be really painful.
And we have to be careful about this because, well, I don't know how it's gonna be on the anime. Hopefully, because it's an anime, she'll probably say yes, I like you eventually later on the story. But in real life sucks. That will not always be the case.
Life sucks. Goodness gracious.
And there will be moments in which you will like this girl and you'll approach and you'll be like, hey, can I have your number? And she'll be like, you know. And you'll be like, oh, okay.
That sounds like it's a little too close to home for you, bro.
Because it has happened to me. I'm not going to say no.
I can feel the pain from this side of the table.
But
sorry,
even when that happens, if you have God as your number one, you'll be fine. Because you know that what she believes of you is not what defines you. What defines you is what the Lord believes about you.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful with this because your spouse, your crush, your girlfriend can become an idol for you.
Yeah.
You have to protect your heart because life flows from it.
Yeah.
That's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
So it is really important for you, being a man or a woman, you have to protect your heart.
Yeah. It's going to be okay. So
it is really important.
It's going to be okay, bro. It's going to be all right.
Because if you don't protect your heart, then you're going to drift from the word.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll go through so much unnecessary pain.
Yeah.
That if you do, by guarding your heart and putting it on the only one that can guide you and protect you, which is God.
Mm-hmm.
So, my friends, if you have a crush on this girl, make sure it's for the right reasons.
Yes, be wise. Be wise in pursuing a relationship and our mindset. Even though, in this anime they're pretty young, they need to be wise about what they're doing because that's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
At a young age, young teenagers, that's where it starts. That's where you start feeling heartbreaks because of relationships, because of girls and the opposite for guys, and that's those things start to shape you. It starts to shape how you are in your heart, in your spirit. You have to be wise about the decisions that you make. And if you're going to be pursuing a relationship with someone, even at that age, your mindset and your goal, your final goal should be, is this someone I would like to marry one day? Not just to play with that person's heart to satisfy our lustful desires, or because, I always wanted to be with somebody and I've never have before. I just want to see what it's like. No, you don't want to take that risk. You don't want to take that risk. That's a huge red flag. And for someone who really respects themselves, that really takes care of their own heart, their own spirit, they're not going to want to be with a person that's like that. So we have to take that into consideration. We have to think about what are our aspirations towards pursuing this girl? Why do we like this girl? And, write down a list and, share it with someone that you really trust. Share it with your parents. I like this person because of this, and that. And, maybe you don't have parents that you can really open up to. It would be great if you did. But if you don't, a pastor or a leader, an elder at a local church, these are the reasons why I like this person, and get wisdom from them. Get, advice.
Even counseling if necessary.
Yes.
And it's good that you mentioned that because the man has a double responsibility over here. because we have a responsibility over our heart. But according to the Bible, we also have a responsibility over the heart of the woman.
Yes.
Because we are supposed to be protectors. Because we are supposed to be providers.
Yes.
We are the ones that have to protect her heart as well. Now we have to do it on the correct way, the right way. And if we don't do it the right way, we're going to go through so much pain.
Yeah.
Because we'll be exposing our hearts to unnecessary pain.
Yeah.
It is necessary for us to take into consideration the testimony of the other person. If things don't end up well with this person, how will her testimony be affected by the way that I approach it to her?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to be careful with that, or by the dates that we have. If you guys are having dates, be careful to not be alone. Try to have chaperones with you. It's not okay for you to be alone in a car or to be alone in the house. That's where temptation strikes. And in Espanol we say, el diablo es puerco. Devil is dirty. He will come after you.
Yeah.
Don't give space for the devil to tempt you.
Yeah.
Run from temptation, because that's what you are called to do.
Yeah. We have to take care of our purity
And
the woman's purity. We have to try to find someone who has that same mindset of, not only you wanting to take care of her heart, her spiritual life, and then having God first, but for that person to have that same mindset, to want to take care of your own heart, to want to take care of your spiritual life, to want to make sure that your life with God is good. That's the goal. That's just basic
Relationships
healthy relationship 101.
And we have to also be considerate about this with girls. Girls, if the guy is not a protector of your heart, if you see that the man is constantly avoiding conversations about your spiritual life, or if you see that the man is not the one that is constantly opening up and bringing up the topics, then that's a red flag for you as well. You have to be careful with that man, because maybe that man is not mature in the faith. And maybe he's not pursuing you because he has a love for the Lord. You have to see the way that he's trying to protect your heart, and you have to ask yourself, is this the way that I want to be protected during the rest of my life? If that is not the way that you want to be protected,
that's good. I like that.
What are you doing there?
Yeah. That's good.
Now, I understand that sometimes the people need a space and time to grow.
Right.
But if that's the case, that guy needs to seek advice on an elder
and
on a pastor.
Yeah.
And he has to go through some stuff
time
first.
Take some time off.
Yes.
Work on your relationship with God first. If that's there's one thing to grow together, grow spiritually together, that you're never going to stop growing. But if you're a babe in the faith and you're not grounded upon Christ, you're not grounded upon at least the basics of having a relationship with God, that's risky. That's really, really risky. You have to get to that point where where your relationship with God is, because He sustains it, not because it's upon it's upon you, but you hold on to Christ. You surrender to Christ. Everything that you do is, you put it in His hands. You give it up to Him. Those are things that you need to have grounded, and that takes time, and you have to be patient. Don't be impatient. Don't rush into marriage. Don't do it.
Don't even rush into relationships.
Don't rush into relationships.
Sometimes relationships can turn out toxic if you don't do them right.
Yeah.
We all have the desire to enter into a good relationship.
Yeah.
We all pray to be on a relationship. And when you enter into a healthy relationship, it is wonderful since the beginning until the end. Yeah. That's why we desire it so much.
Yeah.
But if we don't do it the right way, we'll go into a toxic one, we'll go into a hurtful one, and we'll end up damaging ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And, now shifting towards the anime, we also should be careful with where they might take this anime, because it's anime, it's PG-13. We've only seen the first episode. And with some romances in the route of quote unquote love, sometimes they might do some stuff that goes a little too far. And
Like
I really
to the
hope that
bed?
they don't. I don't think they'll go that far with this one, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But I really hope that they keep it innocent.
Yeah.
I really hope that they keep it innocent.
At least it had a good start.
At least. But so far, like I really like the way it's headed. I really have high hopes for it. I'm really excited for it. It's an anime that really grabbed my attention from the beginning and kept it until the end. So for me, I have really high hopes for it, and I'm very excited to watch it.
Yes. As you guys know, I don't like to follow many animes, but definitely this is going to be on my list. Because, wow, since the beginning till the end, I've loved it.
Yeah.
And this kind of comedy, I do enjoy it. For example, I was talking about being a protector. I saw one example of being a protector with this character when they were playing volleyball.
Dodgeball,
is.
yes.
And he goes like, wait a minute, if she's blind, I can protect her.
Yeah.
So he goes and he steps in front of her and he's like, okay, I'm protecting her. And then she goes from the back and she says, oh, if you're protecting me, then I'll hide behind you.
Yeah,
and she hugs him.
No, she doesn't hug him. She puts her arms like almost like covering herself, but touching her back, his back.
I mean, okay.
So it's like she wasn't hugging him, but she had her arms closed, touching together, and she was like going against his back.
I thought it was a little hug because, but she was way too close to him. So I took it like a little hug. But the point is, she got so close that he spaced out. And the first person was him, the one protecting her. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. But at the same time...
He threw the dodgeball lip. Yeah.
But at the same time, I have to give him a palmadita. Kudos.
Yeah. Kudos to you. Yeah.
Because, hey, you wanted to be a protector. Yeah. And that's something that she will eventually realize.
Yeah.
That is something that a woman desires, to be protected.
Yeah.
And at least on that scene, he did a really good job.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I like that scene. So yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for this show.
And hopefully we'll see it continue going in the right route.
Yeah, in the right direction. Hopefully. We'll see.
May the Lord help them.
But yeah, that's it. That's our episode. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. Grace and peace.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of the Adonime podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Adonime Podcast. Until next time, grace and peace.